Welcome to the first video of the channel. In light of the current hot topic of Cassie Ventura and Sean Diddy Combs, I want to take a look at each individual's chart and connecting the points that brought them together initially, and my observations on how things have played out thus far, what's been revealed to us, and how the details correspond to their own personal alignments based on their personal astrology as well as their synastry, which is the blending of the energies of their charts as they interact with one another. So let's take a look at Cassie's birth chart. With Cassie repeating that she wanted Diddy's attention when it came to her testimonies, some of her testimonies while on the stand. And I connected that with her writing the book. Cassie has her Chiron in Gemini, making an opposition to Uranus in Sagittarius. Chiron speaks to the challenges and the wounding in a certain area in one's life. Gemini is about communication, the mind, the speech, writing, learning, etc., amongst many other things that Gemini corresponds to. And looking at this, I wonder if Cassie had some learning or schooling redundancies, possibly insecurities in her speech and ideas. It could have been hard or a challenge to be heard, or hard for her to get her point across. Maybe she was dismissed for her ideas or for how she spoke or how she communicated. There may have been challenges in how she expressed herself, and in all forms of communication. I also wonder if she's had any speech issues, a speech impediment, or speaking quote unquote nonsensically in a way that didn't make sense to others, or in a way that was a bit too out there for her peers to understand her. That's with the influence of Uranus making an opposition in Sagittarius to her Chiron, having grand ideas, the God influence, or a sense of higher purpose ordained by the divine, Sagittarius, influencing her mind and how she communicates. Having a sense of fate, but also having a hard time being heard. And going back to her wanting to get Diddy's attention with publishing the book and the lawsuits. So I connected it back to that. And just having an insecurity about her genius, her mind, and how she communicates. Diddy was quote unquote God to Cassie. And the correlation to this is the ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter, and that is sitting in Pisces for Cassie. Her Jupiter is in Pisces, and in their synastry, this planet is conjunct to Diddy's North Node in Pisces. So this points to a fated contact, a fated relationship in bringing him to justice. Jupiter is about justice, amongst other things, in Sagittarius. Pisces is about surrender, amongst other things. Diddy must surrender and release control. His Virgo South Node has made for an extremely controlling, calculated, and neurotic individual. When we're talking about the South Node, that talks about having a point in our lives that has been it's a place where we find that there is an overdevelopment in that area, and it's our comfort zone. It's our comfort zone. And when we're looking at our North Node, it is where we're being pointed to align with these energies that is going to help our souls develop and evolve and not stay stagnant. Sagittarius, again, also being about justice, the justice system, what is righteous. In the divine scheme of things, when we take a step back from all of the hoopla, of all of the celebrity hoopla and the glitz and glamour, Cassie was sent to serve Diddy divine justice, leading him to his purpose in this life, which is his North Node being in Pisces and ultimate surrender, and having compassion, and releasing that control, that need for control, need for having the utmost order, to regard a higher power, to regard in what is unseen, to regard in God. And in wanting to get his attention, Cassie's Chiron is making a sextile to her Mercury in Leo. Mercury in Leo wants for its words and what it has to say to be recognized. Leo is the sun. It's literally the center of everything within our universe. It's where we get our source of light. You will hear me. This was not an easy feat for Cassie, being a Libra South Node native. In short, this can make a person prone to codependency, over-reliant on partnerships, not having a strong sense of self or individuality, or being able to be alone, a person that can go along to get along and not want to ruffle feathers or disrupt the status quo. In addition to that, her node ruler of Libra, which is the planet Venus, is also here on her South Node. So being stuck and needing to be in relationships, socializing, keeping up with appearances, and needing social validation. She could not be with Diddy, or anyone for that matter. She needs partnerships. She needs that relating, that feedback, that social currency. Her Chiron is also making a sextile to her Aries North Node, which could be pointing her to stand in her power, to take a stand, to heal her voice, to stand up for herself, quite literally, and speaking the truth. Not just her truth, the Mercury in being in Leo, her Mercury being in Leo, the truth. Chiron in Gemini, speaking. Opposite Uranus in Sagittarius, the truth. Now, Mars, the planet that rules her North Node, which is Aries, her Mars is in Capricorn, and it's making a conjunction to the planet Neptune. When you see Neptune in the chart, this is where things get strange. This is where things start to dissolve. A lot of things happen with Neptune. Again, some strange things that quite literally can't be explained. Things that you see but are not really there. Things that you don't see but are in full effect and running things right from under your nose. And so Mars making that conjunction to Neptune can drug you, quite literally. Drugs. Capricorn talks about money, status, influence, time, and social standing, amongst other things. Mars in Capricorn, doing whatever it takes to get to the top, working tirelessly, and endlessly to achieve your goals, to achieve that status, accolades, and recognition. Hard work to reap the rewards. Now, with Neptune in the picture, blending with Mars in that conjunction, things get really fuzzy, hazy, and shady. Real shady. Underhanded. Doing whatever it takes with no boundaries or stable ground in reality. This relates to the heavy drugs that were involved throughout their relationship with Diddy. Falling for the dream of success, Neptune, the dream. The arts, the beauty, the fame, all an illusion. Her sun in Virgo is making a trine to Neptune, so this can say that she is aligned with her hopes and dreams and wanting to be famous and wanting to be a musician and wanting to have that relationship with the larger than life individual, Diddy, who she believed would get her to that position. But Mars conjunct Neptune blurred everything and broke everything down to where she succumbed to being of certitude to another person, giving away her power. This is where I happened to stop in my notes. Oh wait, there's actually more, so let me keep going. Yes, an alignment and wanting to be famous and respected artist, but that square to Saturn in Sagittarius, her sun square to Saturn in Sagittarius, not having that belief in herself to accomplish this on her own. Now, Diddy is also connected to Cassie's South Node with his Venus and Jupiter. He served as a teacher for her, the quote-unquote larger-than-life figure that he was for her. Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system. Jupiter is known as the guru, the sage, the teacher, the wise one. Jupiter is ultra generous, lavish, big daddy energy. Had Cassie had the maturity and strength to align with her Aries North Node energy, she could have related to Diddy, in my opinion, strictly as a mentor, mentee, and elevated herself to get to where she wanted to be. When it came to her goals, having a 10-album deal and anything else that she desired at that time. But the South Node is one of a few binding aspects that can connect you to another person when it comes to synastry, and it can keep you stuck in a loop. And so, especially with its strong sense of familiarity that it brings amongst the parties, a sense of, I know you, we've done this before, I know you, we have to stay together. There's something here, there's something here, there's something here, inexplicable. I can't explain it. Like, I know you. I just know you from the pit of my soul, the pit of my being, that we've done this before. I've known you before, and it's meant to be. Or a sense of picking up where we left off, or a sense of unfinished business. Now, this is where I actually left off in my notes. So this will be a part 1. Part 2, I will go into Diddy's chart and more of their synastry with one another. So stay tuned. Thank you.